All right, it says that I am live, and I want to make sure that I got this started properly because we got to sync up, right? All right, let me go back because the reason. Okay. So, hello everyone, and thank you for coming to watch Parasite with me. I've seen this film so many times that I may have some insights. I may have like really stupid insights. I may have some interesting things to say, but I do have a lot to say about this movie. I've loved Korean films for many many years now, and here we go with here we go with Parasite. So what is going to happen is you go to 35 seconds in on your Prime. That passes up the logos, the first two logos, and goes into the CJ Entertainment logo. You'll hear like a gong. That's when you should be pressed in. About 30. It's at 35 seconds, and then we will move on from there. And yeah, and if I can only show you maybe like 3 or 4 seconds at a time. Sometimes maybe I'll do visual stuff, but I'll let you know before I do. So if you want to, and also I will occasionally come into the movie and tell you where I'm at, so we make sure we stay synced. All right. So if you're at 35 seconds, you get ready to press the button in 3, 2, 1, press. All right. And off we go into the world of Parasite. Directed by Byung-hun, who is an absolute master. I mean, he deserved all the awards he got. In fact, they should have won all the awards with the editing and the production design. Everything is so perfect, in my opinion, for this time, for this movie. I've always said that it takes a billion things to go right for a movie to be anyway halfway decent, and this one got them not only right, but astoundingly perfect in almost every way. So you should be looking at socks hanging, and and Parasite just popped up on the right side of the screen. Now notice how this first shot is. Maybe I can show you here. Just a second. This is right here. And it goes down. The first shot is down, meaning that we're starting this at below sea level or below that Earth, as it were. And by the way, there's going to be many, many, many spoilers coming up over the next couple of hours. So if you haven't seen it, I'm welcome. But if you have seen it, we're going to have a good time. Because I think I got a couple of things I like to talk about the most. The one is how Song Kang-ho, Kim Ki-tae, the one that's sleeping, faking sleeping, that he's the parasite in the film. Kim Ki-tae. Now, this is very important because having a plan is a big theme that comes through. She asks him, but look what it cuts to. She was ambitious. She has a silver medal, and yet she's here. So it asks you why. What wasn't her? She had dreams. Don't know what Kim Ki-tae's dreams are. Song Kang-ho, I got to shake his hand and got a photo with him because but he was very, very kind, and the movies that I've seen him over the years, which a couple of which we'll be watching this week. Coffee Land 2G. Yeah, that's a septic tank right below the toilet, and that's why the toilet is up. That's what I heard from Bong Joon-ho, not directly, but. So this is more information about how Kim Ki-tae, Song Kang-ho, the dad, is the parasite. Yeah, step one, the boxes are coming, but everyone else notices in Telefather that there's exterminating going on. And Kim Ki-tae goes, oh well, we need it. We got killer stink bugs. Notice how he's not coughing. Everyone's coughing but him. And all he's doing is looking at the video and folding the boxes. He looks like a focused, determined man, doesn't he? Why? Or what sometimes. Still learning Korean. Dokiseyo. Someone just freaked out when I said that. So I talked over the important part is that 1 out of the 4 boxes were rejects. The 1 of the 4 was Kim Ki-tae's reject. So he looks good. Looks like he's working hard, but he's not working at all. And here's another one. The family's outside fighting for the money or their jobs, and he's there sunning himself like a lizard. Now, Parasite is, I think there is a main parasite, as I said, but everyone's a parasite in this movie to some degree. Like this scene when they start coming together, the family starts to surround her. Wheeling and dealing. And they sense weakness by sis, we need someone. And that's why the mom steps in. She's surrounded. Now just think how much easier it would have been to convince her had a 4th person been there, like the father. This is a recurring image. Flipping of money. Look how self-satisfied he is, too. Ask yourself, what did he really do to feel so self-satisfied about this? I know it shouldn't be funny, but it is. Let's see. I mean, it's not. Well, look at that. The sister yells at the brother. Jessica's the. Anyway. The brother looks like he's a weakling or a bit of a coward until this guy shows up. In fact, he doesn't stand up until he sees his friend there. Ooh. Now look at what the mom says. A real vigor. And then the sister, not like my brother. So the brother seems to be heading toward the path of the father. And the sister can see that. Oh. So this is something that Bong Joon-ho says would never happen in Korea in terms of giving this particular rock that's about you. See? There it is. The Scholar's Rock. He said that nobody gives that as a gift. And in America, we just didn't know what was going on at first. Like, whoa, what is that? What is that? That's cool. But it put us off balance, and that's what Bong Joon-ho wanted, was to put you off balance. Like, something's not right. That's why when he said that the Korean family doesn't give that, so Korean audiences will be like, wait a second. So, like, oh. See, the dreamer cuts to the practical person who says this. She wants food instead of... let's see. Can I... Oh, yes, look. This, I want you to notice this... oh, I have to cut to that, don't I? Notice this staircase right here. Golden staircase. It's like it's lit up as in a stairway to heaven. And it's the rich kid that has the stairway to heaven behind him, and his quote-unquote low-life friend sitting in near darkness with light off in the distance, maybe, that might be able to get to. I mean, he just basically said, nothing's going on. My family's out of work. My sister can't afford things. Boom. The film. There's the inciting incident. He's inciting something. An incident. Watch this when he says, what about a loser like me? He says, why do you think? He doesn't say, you're not a loser. He basically just calls his friend a loser. And he's just worried about other guys trying to hone in on his action. Like, see, even he notices. Yeah. That's all he cares about. He's like, I can rest in peace, or I can leave in peace if it's him doing it. Take care of the... See, there. And leave in peace. Marco Rubio. That bus was scheduled to do that move down. By the way, down. Remember down on pretend. You want me to pretend to do this? Vroom. That's why watching this movie more and more, you know that Bong Joon-ho put so much into every frame, the whole place. And of course he has to accept the call. So the incident without which the movie could not have existed. Nope. Young and simple. Those guys are best friends in real life, as I read in the Korean online magazine. I can't remember. Park Seo-dam is so wonderful in this. She has the ability to act 12 and act 52, depending upon who she's talking to and what situation she's in. She's world weary already. And that little stamp right there comes from the Joseon dynasty hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years ago, and they've just adopted that as a stamp for today, even today. Like there's like the king's stamp. Now, ask yourself, why is she washing this rock? But don't get me to tell you because I don't know. I don't know what. Here comes something up. Explains it away. And then lies to himself. And Dad sees himself in him. Self-rationalization. Now notice how when he goes to the interview, he has to go where? He has to go up. And that's where we're at. Now, speaking of up, just to show you how a stark transition here. Look at how far he has to walk up. Look at the green. It's sort of like just creeping out from underneath the ivy. It's not climbing over the fence. It's under the fence. It's like they're pouring with, almost like it's pouring with money or something. So I've learned that, within that conversation, Kevin, he was speaking very formally, and whoever answered the intercom was speaking informally, like don't get me, don't sir me, that kind of, or ma'am me, or whatever. This is like the "you're not in Kansas anymore" moment. When you walk up the steps, sees the place. I've never seen a set like this. That's so... once again, She said, "Ma'am," and she's like, "No, no, 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 none of that. Just come on in." I wonder how much those cost, because I know every house has to have, like, disposable slippers for everyone to use. I'll have to look that up. This is what I noticed the 30th time I see the movie. Of course, this is some excellent visual information to give, because he's thinking of a con as well, I'm sure. Beautiful, rich family, very successful man. He speaks English. He does, he's clearly, obviously rich. I'll be quiet. I swear, that's like the clapper. If you'll notice, and I'll point it out again, if no one's around, she's sleeping. And as soon as someone comes in her orbit, she wakes up. But she has a brilliantly calibrated performance. And I'm only saying that because I've seen it so many times that I realize what she's doing. She's like a combination, not Stepford wife, but person who's had almost their identity taken away from them. But she's also a show off. Because, like right here, when she goes, here, in a second. Not this part. No. There. She says, "What I want," and then she stopped herself and turned it and said it in Korean. Or Hangul. No, that's the writing. Oh. Is it okay with you? Oh, the production design. Oh, the editing. Hey, I shouldn't be too greedy. I was jumping for joy when this film won Best Picture. I've been bugging my friends for months, since last May, the end of May, about, they said, this film is going to blow your mind. And luckily, everyone's kind of felt the same way about it. At least they said so to me. Usually they're pretty honest, though. And the way that America's treated this is a big moment. And that's why I'm also taking this time to watch a bunch of other Korean films, because I'm learning Korean, working on the pulse. Sorry. You can see what a great performer he is. He has not done tutoring. He's brilliant. The whole family is, except for the dad, maybe. But so I'm going to show you a bunch of Korean films that I love, and then we can look at them together. I love it. Very important right here. Vigor. Vigor is what the mom said to him about Min, his friend. Oh, that's a beautiful scene when slides the hand back and she's like, "Oh goodness gracious," like almost like a blush when she flips that page, and a beautiful edit into look how she takes that money out and then 2 seconds later says, "I added some money in it." That's why I know she's not just a Stepford wife, she's also an asshole. Yes, and I laughed at myself for saying that. So no one is and coming up what she explains about the arrows. Sung-seng-nim, teacher. That's what that means in Korean. You see, she places so much importance on the United States. She kind of casually slips in English. She goes, "Oh, I bought this in the United States," and it's American Indian stuff. but I'm sure he's not trying to make a point there. I'm going to have to do this one again because I have way too much to say about this. There's some theories I have that would take up too much of the film. Right now, oh, he's a crazy kid and his Cub Scout leader loves the Indians, and maybe that's why. Do you think maybe that's why? But look at how he picked up on it. Look at Kevin picked up on it. He knew how to keep that thing going. Now, oh yeah, this is a laugh in the theater. He doesn't miss a beat. Now, but you have to ask yourself, is anything going on? No. Because he has to get this information about how they need an art teacher. But he doesn't get the idea until he takes a step or two down. And down is where the scheming, the wheeling and dealing is. And you'll notice that down is wheeling and dealing and up is the beauty. Down is gross, up is the beauty. It's stunning. He knows what buttons to push. Right here. Illinois. He knew to recognize something in the United States. So, yeah. He knew he hooked her. So that's why he's able to continue right here. He's great at improvisation. Him and Jessica are great at improvisation. Yeah, so that's there was no crime. He was given it. He said, just forge a signature. Oh, here we go. Illinois, Chicago. All right. I got to be careful with that button. You know what, though? I don't. Because as long as everyone can see it, it's like I'm not doing this for money. I'm doing this because it's fun. And I get to talk without talking someone's ear off so much that, and now it's even worse. I imagine that if any friends are watching this, they'd be like, oh, God, to be in a room with him for 2 months, even I'm like, oh. No, I really hope you've seen this. If you haven't, go watch it and then come back with me because it's fun. See, secrets flying everywhere. She's listening in on the conversation downstairs. He's listening on her. This is done in one take. No deceptive editing. The middle of that sentence is Hana. It's the sky. He says it too. Haner. Sometimes, as I'm learning Korean, I'm learning where words are placed and how verbs are conjugated. Not well, but enough. I have a big theory about Kevin asking to get the information on Dasong in English. It has to do with why I think Dasong was bowing to Jessica. Write it in English and Dasong can't read it. Or at least not as well as he could. Or Yeah, the last part of the sentence was a I think it's a conjugation of a verb. But okay, this scene got such a big reaction the first time I saw it in a movie theater with an audience with an American audience. This, this still haven't cut away. And I love how we never know what he compares her to. He writes it, I'm pretty sure, in English. And then, of course, her reaction says it all. And, of course, this does too. And this is where people started reacting in movie theaters. They were like, oh. You know, he's not playing like a 40-year-old man. This is evil of what he's doing because he's pretending to be someone he's not and taking advantage in order to get his family money. But would you... But, yeah, done with no cutting. Like, he knows how to move the camera around so it feels like you've looked at everything when really you've just stuck with those two. And that's why the acting is top-notch, perfect. You can't do some things like that without perfect actors. Oh. Yeah, Jessica has got the... she's got the confidence, right? But she does that because she's going to have to make up the whole thing as she goes along. And it could derail if the mom was in there. It is a beautiful house. But this reminds me of The Shining. All that stuff. The pantry in The Shining. And look at the thing that says Merry Christmas next to the... Why is that hanging there? Why is there a tree right there? I don't know what of course I don't know what time of year this came out in May, so I assumed that would be the springtime. I don't know. This is almost she's looking at him apprehensively. See, he's this fourth dimension guy, and then he does this, right? That's quite a change. He had to have been told, "Hey, we know you're faking it." Still trying to figure out how that letter got into her hand somehow, but as conspiracy theories go, it's a fun one. It's a good one to have because it's meaningless. The reason he has to have the letters because what she's about to say. How is she know to ask that if she didn't know already? My good friend, great friend, pointed out how director Bong breaks the 180-degree rule with that camera movement. Says that you're only supposed to do if a two-person scene, you shoot from here and here. You don't turn the cameras around here. This is like a plane, like a half circle. But Bong Joon-ho, he took it and went across. He broke the plane right here, and then he did it any which way he wanted. Once again, to give you that feeling of off balance. Jessica is clearly 500 times better at ringing in the bait from an acting sense. I mean, Kevin and Jessica are the engines that got the whole family in here. But Jessica's probably a little faster on her feet considering what happens in just a second with the driver. Sorry, this is right here. And she said it in English. Not him, but she did. I mean, we shouldn't expect people them to speak English with each other. Like, it should be like this. That's why it seems, because he's so carefully calibrated, that Bong Joon-ho wanted her to like toss in English as almost like a status symbol. But once again, this is just my opinion, which is always right. So there you go. Oh, gosh. Look how quickly she comes up with the plan. She has like 7 seconds. I mean, she was thinking about what she had to do, where she would put it, how this would help, what, you know, if anything. So she's like making all these calculations, and you also have that distraction there, which is a filmmaker's technique. It's perfectly cool with me, especially since the rest of the film is wonderful. So, oh yeah, this here. This is about look at the Taiwan cake shop, or the Castella shop. The Castella shop. It comes back later, and I'll point it out again. The next stage. He's asking the sister about the next stage, which means that it may be Jessica's idea, but it doesn't seem like it, because we'll see later with the father's story. See, he said, eat as much as you want. And the mother's like, you didn't pay for this. Why are you saying that? So he's acting like a father when he's not a father. And I love the score of this film. It's so unique. It's unique in Korean films too. I love, why do I have to say it? The scores are not like this. In fact, it's probably as close to Scorsese as Bong Joon-ho has ever come in terms of style of the use of music and his mastery of there, she's asleep, and then she's a husband, then she's like, oh, hello. Yeah. And why is she saying, what is this? She puts the gloves on after she's already touched it. And we all know it's like putting a, I don't want any of those jokes. Everyone's heard enough of that. This is great. It wasn't just the fact that it was in his car. It was like, hey, why was it in my seat? Oh, I was in my seat. it's funny how important director Bong made this scene. It's like it got real quiet, and if the cut was perfect on his movement, when it's really just him coming up with a lot of horse shit. Goes to show you how all you have to do is plant a seed, and the next thing you know, disinformation and nutty conspiracies come out. Like this. Oh, and then the little humor of the glove touching the face. See? So he made up the story, and she freaked out about it. I don't know how rational it is. See, look what cowards they are. And there's always someone listening. Just some bland excuse. They don't want to tell the truth. They don't want to say confront anything. They want to say, "Oh, just push it under the rug. Just go away." And in that way, they are like Kim Ki-tae. They're like, whatever, just. The driver. Okay, she didn't hear or know completely about the driver from the wife until they started walking down steps. Now, she overheard what was going on, but she didn't know that she was going to get fired. But I think that when she goes, "Hey, did he do anything?" Jessica knew that she had the hooks right there. And they're still going down. I know they say to forget about the camera, but sometimes I think I actually do forget about the camera, and I don't want to do anything. And then she gets her seed in for the driver, for Dad. And it's like the brother got in from his rich friend. Jessica got in because of Kevin. And they were ready to go. I mean, ready to go. And just off the cuff. I don't trust anyone now. All you need seems to be one person to start a lie, and then everyone starts believing it. I'm deadly serious. I'm trying to figure out why he picked those particular lines. See, but the dad's not ready to go. He has to go study. Now, of course, the first time you see it, you're like, hey, of course, I perfectly understand why he's got to do that. He hasn't driven a Mercedes-Benz in a while. But he knew that before this happened, so he should have been driving Benzes, or at least checking them out, instead of right after he found out he got the job. I do know that the son's clothes are too small for him. Those clothes don't look too small for him. They look like he's had the same suit for 30 years. See? He's very content to do nothing. Once again, almost like a lizard sunning himself as he closes his eyes and breathes in. He has the deepest, unique voice. It just very recognizable. My girlfriend and I were watching another Korean film. It was about zoo animals that could talk, and one of them was him. Because it's very easy. I can't even do it. He's got a resonance around him. I mean, when he said he's like the head of the household, the way he said it was such pride as if like, yes, okay, by birth then by marriage I'm the head of the household, but really, I don't know. Yeah, see, rich guy said, "Oh, it's not a test, but it really was a test." Here comes the greatest sequence of the year. I'm quiet the whole time. Make sure you're right about here. I know it said I'd be quiet, but I can't. I love this. You know how that girl feels. Foreshadowing those visuals. The music's in the background is slowly getting bigger. Jessica had to get the peach and then start heading up. So the peaches they had to buy were down. And the way to get fixed and well is to go down, just like Song Kang-ho right there. And she's already down. Heading back home, heading up. Heading up. Whoop. I realized I was pointing at things at the screen that you didn't see. Or that you didn't see at the same time I did. This last thing is different than the 4 because it's huge and grand and complex. And it's also totally written out. So the father can't even come up with ideas on his own. He needs a script. But they couldn't pick the order. Like, they probably would have preferred to have the mom in there first. But they needed dad because that was the job that was open. It's a symphony, this editing. The ladies are enraptured by his performance. The son, Kevin. But coming up, my favorite shot is after Jessica drops the peach fuzz on her. The second time they do assault. When she looks back, it's the woman. It's the caretaker. It's like she has this feeling and she knows what's going on. Nothing, like, peaches. They use this part of the movie to great effect to make it seem like it was very horror-like. That right there with Song Kang-ho walking up the steps. I'm pointing at something you hopefully will be watching. That was the icing on the cake because they didn't know if they could get it, but they got it. I still don't know why they're going to meet in the sauna room, but I love it anyway because it's so enclosed, so close, and they're so unfamiliar with each other. I think that they're there because it's probably the safest room that people won't be listening in on. Though who would be listening, I have no idea. Oh, the housekeeper, of course. But really, here we go. Make up some excuse, simple, bland excuse. A proven method because that's all they do. That wins awkward handshake of the decade. It's interesting how that particular scene is going to take on new significance for a few months. And look where the housekeeper woke up the matron of the house. Now that's the same place she's getting fired. Oh, look at... It's like, I know I shouldn't talk during those moments, but there's nothing going on in those moments. I feel like those are the times I can talk. So the crimes have gotten bigger as we've gone along. Little lie, followed by an even bigger lie, followed by an elaborate scheme involving hospital stays to get the dad a driver job. It was my girlfriend's birthday last night, and we had Korean food. We had this hot stone. I had a combo, and she had bulgogi meat. You know that fish is mulgogi, which is mul is water, so it's like water meat. Just something else I'd throw out. So of course they've got to get the mom hired. But you'll notice it wasn't up to the father. You'll see with the care. You'll see. Just 1 second. You'll see. You'll see. Oh. This is about the housekeeper eating enough for two. Remember, there's lots of spoilers going on, but he said, oh, she always ate enough for two. And you wouldn't be finding problems with it except for the money. And that's important. Like, he can't wash clothes himself. Of course, hey, I'm not from... you can tell from his tone of voice that cooking is... Oh, you love her. We'll call it love. See, this is why we know it's not the dad that did it. Because the daughter has the phone that card is attached to. The dad would not be able to do that. The dad was good enough to find the Wi-Fi signal on the ceiling. And even then they would have found it eventually. In fact, it wasn't on the ceiling. It was actually in the bathroom. Can you? People still. I mean, you would think that people wouldn't fall for that. Like, oh, the cool business is on, like American Psycho with their showing of their business cards. People still fall for everything. They can be told they're getting fleeced, and they'll get fleeced. It's crazy. That's a tangent. I digress. This is where their relationship changes. He caused the guy some discomfort by screaming and hitting the brakes, slamming the guy against his back seat. And of course, no need to mention, because if they mention it, the whole game is up. See, eyes on the road. He's like, I've had another conversation. That's like, no, it's not the dad. There's the wife. I mean, the Jessica. She's boiling a rag. It's important for later. If she wanted, she is a con artist. And he's taking credit for her voice. At least he's not taking credit for everything else. Look, even the daughter's like, Dad, get out of here. You're going to ruin it. Kevin calls his dad Abuji, just father, Abuji. And Jessica says, Appa, Appa, which is more an informal, like, daddy or something, I think. But the fact that they approach him differently in a sort of a respect-wise is interesting and should be explored more, too. It's another great sequence of the showing the whole house and how the whole family's employed. I wish I knew what she said there. I know you shouldn't say things like, I could draw better than that, but I could draw better than that. Then again, I'm saying I can draw better than a kid. Then again, it wasn't a kid that drew those. It was a 22-year-old who decided that was the way to, or the production designer to say, well, that's how this kid would draw. Look at all that stuff, all that shit they bought for camping. That's not camping. That's drones and, oh, yeah, this. Crack in the armor. No. So Jessica cuts to the heart of the matter with her scissors and her meat and her words. Right here. The director, Bong, says that the semi-basement culture is like a big thing, meaning a problem, or like class struggle. He's given a rally. That's right. They had immense amount of cash coming in. Why are they trying to do even more? Or why are they hurting the family's house? They should have it made. Because now you notice Kevin, he got up. He got up and acted. This was his first moment he acted on his own. And the dad is like, no, take this water. And okay, Kevin tried to say "Tong get a fucking grip," but he said it differently. So he must have been, because he's trying to become Min. That's why he's got her as trying to get that girlfriend. Look at the father once again. How inept he is. He tries to throw water on the pisser, and instead he throws the water on his son. It wouldn't be that hard to hit a man standing right next to you with a bucket of water, but he did that and just drenched his son. I mean, I think I was going to say it's the music is almost Tarantino-esque in that it seems like it shouldn't fit the scene, but it does. But they're peers, so they both got their ideas from many different other places. Just that some of the same ideas, like their use of music, the ultra violence, the wonderful dialogue. It's just that's just what they all have. What all great films have in common. It's just how they express it. She kept saying beam projector instead of what the mom was saying, which is this in Korean. She's like, yes, the beam projector. I don't know if this is something, but the dog name is Fufu, but Korean doesn't have the f sound. So it's just Poo-Poo. And I wonder if they named the dog that because, well, that's an American name, because Koreans don't say f. I mean, the F word is sheepal. And they have a saying, you can do it. And that's fighting, fighting. The phrase, it's like fighting. But you say it fast, it's fighting. People say that now, but it's somehow the F. How does he hear that? 하늘, sky. See how much water Koreans drink? Like everyone should drink. I got my hand sanitizer. Ugh. Okay. Hey, I've decided that you got to do what everyone does. Play your part. Look at moms reliving past glory just for fun. Well, and then they just crashed into some car and they didn't care. It's amazing how you think anyone can, I can talk for 2 hours and be engaging, but I know the more I do it, the better I'll get. But this is hard stuff. I have much respect for those people who do this day in, day out, like Tim Pool and stuff. Live streaming can be, it's not tiring, but hey, I'm happy that I'm here. I'm happy that I'm able to do this because we're all kind of closed off, and thank goodness for the internet right now. So, for those of you who missed it, Kevin just said when she and his university officially asked her out, that's exactly what Min said about her, too. When she finishes university, officially asked her out. He has taken over Min's personality. Sheepa, see? Mom's not happy with that. See, Director Bong, he lets moments sit for a while before he cuts to the next moment. Now, because he said daydreaming, it's like there's hope for him because he realizes that what he's thinking of isn't really real. But the dad thinks everything is okay. Bangi. And it's flowers, yeah. This is their point of view of the theme of the film. She's rich but still nice. Not rich but still nice. Nice because she's rich. Oh. And look how nice she is. Pushes the dog away. Perfect visual representation of not meaning what you say. And also, money is an iron. That's another one. It's not as if the father doesn't have a soul or a conscience, because he's even worried about the driver that got fired that he took the place of. But Jessica is having none of it. I know those are American names, but it's easier for me to track. And everyone, I think. She looks like she's got the strength and the hard-headedness of the mom and the brilliance. And see, Appa. She's like, think about us first. Don't think about it. Who cares about that driver? Yeah, that hard head, but she's also got enough of the conscience from her father. It's a weird mix. Abouché. Practical. This is very Virginia Woolf. Who's afraid of Virginia Woolf? I'll explain in a second. I'd like to welcome people from the future. And everyone here right now. Dad would run and hide like a cockroach if the parents came home. See, she's breaking it with laughter, but the kids are saying, don't do it. So I can't imagine this is something that this wouldn't be the first time they did the Fool Ya game. So it's... Yeah. Exactly halfway through. That doorbell signals the halfway point of the film and where the film starts to become something else. Remember, there's tons of spoilers. There's the housekeeper. Yeah. We're just about 1 hour, 3 minutes, and 25 seconds from when we started. somewhere like that. Here's the. I'll show you a picture over here. You can right here. So that should, if you were able to see that, we should get it back on track. But it's the housekeeper from the old housekeeper asking to be put in because she forgot something in the basement under the kitchen. Yeah, we all know what basement that is too. This isn't in the plan. I wonder what was the plan after that. They never got back to it clearly, but oh, creepy. It was just like, do you want to come down with me? I'm not even going to turn the light on. And right there's a scene where they show the wires are cut from the CCTV, and she doesn't say she did it until later, a few minutes from now. And I thought that was one mistake because the CCTV wires being cut is important for the end of the film and for this part of the film too, but really the end because they could not track anyone because those cords were cut. Yeah, there's the first image you haven't seen in many movies, if any, other than this one. Someone trying to push the thing with Merry Christmas above them. Watch what happens to the Merry Christmas sign when they finally move the cabinet. It's stretched out. That is the moment where temperatures dropped, people gasped. Everyone I know, I mean, me personally, I was like, oh! And one of my great friends here took him here in New York. He thought he had it figured out. He only had it half figured out. Who's going to figure out that there was a basement even further down below anything else? And that there's someone living there. They're, she's trying to get on a familiar level with her. See? The picture and the words are too far apart. That's my... Oh, try to call her sis. See, very familiar. Trying to be very friendly and familiar. Sucking on a baby's bottle. Ah. She said that she bought all the food with her salary, but the husband mentioned that she ate for two. Why would he do that? He wouldn't know that unless he bought the food himself, right? Oh, 4 years he's been down there. Over 4 years. This is the kind of exposition you don't care that you're hearing because it's something you've never heard before. At least us. Now, of course, the Koreans must have known about the basically the panic room, but it's a panic basement because they were dealing with nukes. We're not need the someone saying the person living in the semi basement said they're not needy. Yep. Costello Cake One shop. Taiwan Cake. Just like his shop went bust. It's more about Korean society than it is about a secret connection between the two. I know that now, but oh, and the dad messed that one up. He slipped, he fell, causing the next horrible set of events to happen. See, and of course, the darkest secrets are down. This is going back to the up-down thing. That's why this is in this deep in this basement. The game is up. A great throwing back in her face right here. It's amazing that cell phones are more dangerous than guns now. That sounds very wrong, and I'm sure it is wrong statistically and everything else. But in movies, it's great that they can go, look at this, I'm going to press send if you don't do what I tell you. See? That's what they don't do with guns. But with the camera now, everyone can be, hey, back up, man. Look at him. It's like he's like an animal. Doesn't this sound like a song from Goodfellas? But of course, it's not, for obvious reasons. See? You know, that guy's hair isn't like that. They thinned it out and shaved it for the movie. He was on the Academy Awards, and well, I mean, of course, maybe he was wearing a hairpiece, but I don't think so. He looked much younger, and he looked like he got a full head of hair. But you know, I haven't had a chance to pull on it or anything, so. Americans would probably laugh a lot more at this if we saw North Korean news anchors. Doesn't everyone's back? I gotta get a chair that helps the back a little more. That was very informative for all the Parasite watchers. See, the music is still playing in the background. It's the use of music is like overpowering to practical, meaning that we're listening to it as if we're in the room. Then back to overpowering. So overpowering that it overtakes even the sound in the film. It's just the music. This is all about editing too. The sequence of music and visuals. That brilliant of them. Oh, see, the first two got hit over the head. That's not the first, not the last time. But how the editing was able to make her ramming into the couch quiet. Oh, Peaches! I couldn't believe this. Like, oh, holy smokes! My jug of water. It's nothing new. I always have it. I'm sure. I know the Ramdon bit is very difficult to translate because I hear there's it's a mixture of Japanese and Korean noodles, which I guess don't happen, which is why she goes, "What the hell is this?" I mean, another thing, nitpick, but of course you don't have to watch the film 30 times; it won't bug you. But 8 minutes to cook sirloin, medium well done, and have these noodles that she doesn't know how to make. I understand it's a combination of the like ramen noodles, but she just shoved her phone in within all the trash. I mean, it's not trash, but like her phone just got thrown in with all of that. They don't show how she got it back, but I guess they don't have to have a scene where she digs through the trash. That would be a kind of a wasted scene, wouldn't it? See? And it's not 8 minutes. She's cooking raw meat, medium well done. They say medium well done. Another fantastically edited sequence, tracking 5 or 6 different characters, using music as the unifier. You notice how the lights don't come on. Something that you don't notice at all until it's pointed out to you why the lights were on at that particular moment. I'm looking at myself like, what is he doing? Uh-oh. That sound, that is to me the spider got shot moment. And if you're a Goodfellas watcher, you know what that means. It's the movie. It's the moment the movie went places it can no longer return from. Like if they had talked it out or whatever, they could have kept him in the basement and done, all lived the roots together. But there's no way that's happening now. At least not without complete, massive problems. A lot of people take really big blows to the head and survive. I guess it can happen. But she took quite a thumping. I guess that would just be a heavy concussion that could lead to, well, she does pass away, but who knows if it's from the peaches and. See, she made all that food and he didn't even want it. It's funny, he's still thanking him for housing him and feeding him. He doesn't even know he's there. A friend of mine thought that was how the guy always did it, but no. The only reason he's hitting the buttons with his head is because his hands are tied behind his back. Now she's using trauma therapy and art therapy, was something that Jessica said. She didn't know what it was. Calls her sis, like, oh, we're gossiping. Although she's eating food she made her make. So now we get to see the first grade incident. This is, yeah. Look at this. Ah! So this is important too. He had a seizure after it, and she's bringing up the fact that you have 15 minutes to reach the emergency room if the son has a seizure. Or he dies, which is important for the end. Very important for the end. You don't have a plan? Like, who has a plan in this movie? Just so accepting of living in isolation and sadness and poverty. Please let me live down here. Nampian, husband. I'm not trying to show off. I'm learning Korean and I'm saying words that I recognize. I don't really have to watch the subtitles for the movie anymore. I have this weird memory that doesn't. I'm not photographic, but it's pretty close, especially when it comes to movies and pop culture and music. You know, the important things in life. I couldn't remember formulas. Look at her. She ate the whole thing. She was like, oh, here, you can have it. And then, no. She had to eat it because there was sirloin. I mean, steak is steak, but... And she just got done saying that the money was great, which is a great thing to say in front of your housekeeper. Oh, the money coming in is really good. And then I'm going to eat this food for no reason. Yeesh. Yes, very fortunate she's not. Well, actually, come to think of it, once he takes her down there, they won't know. I read an article from a box office report. It was from the 3rd of March. And was like saying, looks like Parasite's run has finally come to an end. It was March 3rd. It won the Best Picture a month beforehand, and it was already streaming. And he's saying, oh boy, now it looks like it's dying out. The fact that people were still seeing this film for well over a month until now, basically. It was playing until now. Still in theaters when you could watch it like you're watching here. That's how stunning this film is. I mean, it played in places that foreign films or international films, excuse me. I agree with that. It's international. They hadn't seen it before, and so now they're turned on to it. And hope I can do my part. Showcase some really good stuff. Oh. What a striking image of that teepee in this super rich house in South Korea. It's just everything is like layers of weirdness upon weirdness upon weirdness. That was great. Covering the noise. I'm with you. I want you, honey. He's like, I'm with you. Honey is oppa, by the way. Appa. There are terms of endearment. So make sure it's a little more. Good. It's normally be like, oh wait, why are they sleeping down there? But there's a good reason for them to sleep down there. The kid's been established as pretending to be crazy, and so it also adds tension because the family's sitting underneath the table, or lying underneath the table, and then it gets more and more. Oh. The smell again. An old room. See, when you boil a rag like she boils rags, I don't even know why she's boiling them. I don't know. Never boiled a rag before just to boil it. Smell is a huge theme in this too. See, I like how he says, yeah, smell it on the subway. It's been ages since they rode the subway. Yeah, I'm sure it's been ages since either of them rode the subway, if they ever did. He's trying to tune out the horrible things that are being said about him by shutting his eyes. And then if that doesn't work, I'll show you what comes next. I'm not talking about what's going on the screen right now because you should know what's going on the screen right now. There's something that he does. I think it's like he lays like this, and it looks unnatural, especially since he does it coming up in a minute, and then later on in the gym. He does like to close his eyes to shut himself off from the world. That's why when he's sunning himself and when he's in the semi-basement with the kid, the family was trying to come together to get the interview with the kid, with the Bob for the pizza place. He just closes his eyes and when he's waiting for the interview, and then if somebody says something bad, he closes his eyes. But then if it gets too much, he covers his face or he covers his eyes, sort of like a. And that's probably where you see the poster behind me. The guys, they got things, black marks around their face. I think that could be it. It's almost like they're ready to break. It's almost like this is like the second. See, right? Oh. Like that. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, I said that. I showed that too. This is also weird. Buy me drugs. I assume that's probably what she is then. She's probably messed up on drugs, which is why she's sleeping all the time. Keeping her tethered to the house, I guess, chemically. But maybe not so much because she's begging for drugs as if she couldn't get it. I don't know. I mean, that is a scene that is simultaneously sad, funny, and tense. It's just all those things. Yeah. Kids go first. What do? They get right on their feet and get the hell out. Dad's by himself. He's like, oh, I'm not going to get on my feet. I'm going to crawl like a cockroach. And then look what happens. Now, thank God Director Bong did this is for the audience's delight. The fact you can see his feet still in the shot on the left-hand side of the screen. It's like if anything else happens, boom, it's over. Pouring rain. Oh. See, it's almost like he made it too hard for himself. This is where the final, well, not the final reveal, but the biggest reveal of how far down they are versus how high up where they are with this rich family are. So the rain, of course, they have to start running down. Very mountainous, very hilly regions in Korea, but they're running down. And of course, it's pouring rain, so the water is rushing down almost like a mini river. But they have drains. But as you see, it's not just a little running down. They're running to another set of stairs, big set of stairs, where they have to run down that too. So they're not better than the guy in the semi-basement, if you're thinking about who's below whom. Going through a tunnel isn't fun, but guess what? There's even more stairs to go down. The level of inhumanity at this point is too much. Oh, how far down, and just imagine the walk up. There's a big connection with this in the movie Joker that I noticed, and I'll be doing that on my other channel, Pink Hat Rant. See, this is where Park Seo-nam looks like a 12-year-old asking Dad, what are we going to do? It's something she normally doesn't do. But she's lost, and she's a kid. They're probably like 21, 22 at the most. This is also sad. See, thinking about Min. He didn't want to think about for himself. And she's right. Min wouldn't be in this situation. He's there with his grandfather in the Scholar's Rock. So actually, he's traveling abroad. Meaning something nobody can do. How is that possible I could say that and it's real? The father said he had a plan of his own in case you missed it. The beauty of me talking while you're watching these films is it's subtitled. So you'll still be able to read what's going on. Once again, look, they're still not done walking downstairs. And remember, it was a trickle into a drain when they were up in the rich house, but now it's a gushing waterfall because there is no drain. There are no drains. They are the drain. They say shit rolls downhill. The shit has rained downhill. Oh. I know that, real quickly, Director Bong and the production designer, they went to an older, poorer part of town and got all of the signage and filled that area with it. And it looks great. It looks... See, another reason the editing is brilliant. The editor knows just when to bring them back so you don't forget them. Look at that. It's her silver medal in piss. And then, of course, the sewage tank is just spewing things everywhere. But you would think Jessica would stay out of there. And if you want to know why the ending happens, it's right here. It's when she's going to mention the name of the mom, the housekeeping mom. $10 or whatever it is now. It's like you've accepted life that way. How many of you could sit in a toilet around sewage water and just smoke instead of trying to get the heck out of there? See, repeat after me. Chun-suk, that's the mother. And look at how he said, remember later, he says that the rock's calling to him. It keeps clinging to him. Well, that's clear because look at that. How did he find the rock? How did it rise to him in that water? Boy Scouts, Morse code. See, he doesn't know English. Otherwise, he might have been writing it. It lends to my theory of Kevin giving the letter that to Jessica about that song. At least the husband knew to get that silver medal. That's probably her prized possession above all prized possessions. The socks are dipping their toes in the water. This is where all the water and all of the garbage and nastiness comes from the top right on down. Nowhere else for it to go. This is a stunningly sad and I don't know what to say, prescient. It's not prescient. It's just it was the mood of the country last year. That's why Joker made $1 billion and Parasite won Best Picture was a sensation. Class warfare. I think a lot of people are really misinformed about this film. I know there were some people who were upset that it won Best Picture, not because it was because that's just ridiculous. It's Best Picture. It's not Best American Picture. And the fact that South Korea had never been nominated for an Academy Award before Parasite. Parasite was the first time they've ever been nominated, and of course the first time they've ever won. Oh, hang on a second. Because we get to see the dad's plan right now. See his arm? See, none of it matters. And he said he had a plan. I love that hair. Son said he'll take care of everything. I guess he's probably known forever that his dad didn't have a plan. The rock that's bringing them prosperity has brought them not prosperity so far. Chincha, really. In many other things, but chincha. Chincha? Really. Act 3. Look how beautiful and clean everything is. The sky is perfect for them. They're high in the sky, high above all that other stuff. How nice of her to say, you can have as much food as you want at a place that I'm making you come for no reason. You know what I mean. Look at her showing off. Why not? I know they do that. I know people do that. But, I mean, we use Spanish phrases and French phrases, Japanese phrases, and I use Korean phrases now. But she does it in particular. She does it more than anyone else. So there's a reason that director Bong has had that in there that way. And of course, the great contrast of her picking out high designer clothes and the Kim family fighting for clothes and people screaming and yelling. And they all have to go to this party now. Yolke, I think that's 10. Yolke, I think it's 10. They're showing 10 tables. My girlfriend pointed this out, and this is wild. She's asking her to take these 10 huge tables from the basement and make this crane's wing formation by herself. See that there's happiness, but then there's that undercurrent of and that music. Plastic bags. I hear they're less likely to be transmit viruses because they don't last that long on them, as opposed to cloth bags. Not that anyone has to worry about that. It's not like any state has banned plastic bags or anything to carry things around. I'm all for recycling. But sometimes getting rid of something altogether may not be the best thing in the world. It's got nothing to do with the movie. Just forget what I said. I mean, I'm staying in. I'm following all the recommendations. I do not want to get anyone sick. That's why I'm staying in. Because I do care about the community and family members and friends and my friends' family members. Doesn't mean I can't complain about it or see some of the problems inherent in the reaction and the response statewide and nationwide. But all that has got to go away for right now. That nonsense. It's nonsense right now. Talking any kind of thing political, it's nonsense. Not with what's going on. Speaking of what's going on, Oppa, calling him honey, baby, whatever. Poo. He's kissing. See, he is very focused on outward appearances, like how cool everyone is, and natural, as if he's not natural his own self, but that's all he cares about, fitting in. Because he doesn't want to feel like a fraud. Because I guess, he knows that he is. But of all of them, he started it. It's like beware people bearing gifts. When Min brought that rock in, that's when all this stuff happened. Oh, this is the saddest. South Koreans wearing Indian headgear made in the United States for a party for his son. You think Dr. Bong's got something to say about America? I wonder what it is. Song Kang-ho looks like a Native American there. Just something about it. I guess it's because, you know what? I realize he's an average person, not a person who can exfoliate and be rich like his boss. So he looks like, his age. Weathered. Like, not in a bad way. It's just that that's how normal people look. People who live and work in film and on film people, rich people like that, they don't have skin like that. They either They have exfoliates and stretch it out till their lips are all the ends of their lips are touching the tops of their ears. See, Deb was going on about some plan. He didn't. Of course, we all know what his plan was. Nothing. No plan. Aigo. My goodness, it could mean many things. It's like an exclamation of "oh," like that. That's the cake that he was eating when he saw the ghost, which was the man who lived down there. See, in order to solve your problems, you got to go down, 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 and that's always has not been the best way to solve problems. He's as clumsy as his father too, which causes problems. Like he doesn't think through everything well enough. See? Like that, you'll see. I mean, well, we know what happens, but he didn't want to announce himself, but he didn't think that carrying a rock was a bad idea down to the basement. Carrying a rock down to the basement was a bad idea. There, I edited myself. This is like the section probably where my girlfriend would be like, I can't look, I'm not going to look. It's not tense at all, is it? All the gasps from that. Ooh, see, and see, the rock is could be used against him. It's basically, he's the master of his own domain, the destroyer of his own fortunes. Just like Dad. Like that in particular. See, when they carried the rock down, that wouldn't have happened. But one thing about Kevin, is that he was taking initiative, which the father really hasn't been. It's like he just does what he's told. They write out his part for him. He stands here, and when he's not there, he's kind of like the wife in that he just kind of shuts off. The wife sleeps or shuts off, and the Song-ryong shuts off when he wants to, either by closing his eyes or I love CGI effects when they're done like that, within the context of a real reality, the context of reality. It looks wonderful, and it's easier to film. I want to know what he was looking at. He's looking down. I know it was almost like a cheat. Like the director goes, okay, we can't let people know you're walking toward the knives, so just walk sort of in the general direction. I understand his face is all smashed up, so he's not thinking right. Now here comes Oppa. Oppa, and she's not saying Kevin, but that's just for us, so we know that she's talking about Kevin. Wild. There, he has the seizure. He's got 15 minutes. They're fighting with an actual tomahawk and... See, he's trying to help, but he's making it worse, according to her. Literally skewering someone. But that was the wrong thing to do, too. Notice how the husband didn't do anything to help the wife. His wife was getting attacked by the crazy dude, and he's just watching. No, it takes this, the smell, to get him to react to something. Like he can't cover his eyes to it. He can't cover his hand over his eyes, so he has to act. But the one time he acts is the thing that destroys them all. If he hadn't have done that, he might have gotten fired, but a lot of them would have kept their jobs and the daughter could have been saved. But he turned it into a straight up murder case. Because the guy living in the basement, they wouldn't know who he was, and they could have denied his presence. And so just like the wife predicted, there goes Dad like a cockroach, slithering away. Yeah, if you wouldn't have stabbed the husband, things would have been different. But the fraud and all that other stuff wouldn't have been noticed because the housekeeper is dead and the guy is dead. But he decided to get angry over a smell. Oh. He's laughing. The movie Joker has the penultimate scene when he's on the car, fades to black, and then laughing like this. Laughing at the ridiculousness of society. There's a lot of people laughing at the ridiculousness of society right now. I've seen all these videos saying, oh, the ending of Parasite explained. The ending is what you think it is. I mean, because everyone has a song that they like, and they have different imagery in their heads of it. Movies are the same thing. What you think happened in the ending is what happened. I'm not saying that I would agree with you, but there's no need to explain everything. Personally, I believe it's pretty easy to understand, but I'm not going to explain that because I do really believe that people have to take from it what they can. I mean, I would love to have people watch as much as me and then see some of the things that I've seen. But I like sharing it with you. I hope that I've shown you a couple things that maybe you didn't notice before. So she was 23 or 22. Well, 22 when it was filmed, but 23 in the character, the daughter, Jessica. Look, it's the same furniture. They're going back to normal. And the Wi-Fi is still only in the bathroom. Coffeeland 2G. The CCTV, the cut the wires. I think they should have had another shot of it being cut. Just so people remember. I mean, I grew up in the San Francisco Bay Area, and I thought that I had stairs were an issue there. I mean, it is very hilly, but Korea, everything's a hill, seems like. Especially if you get into the more crowded neighborhoods or lower class neighborhoods, or middle class, lower middle class or middle class. The stairs just go on for days and days and days. It made me wonder. Makes me wonder. Like, I guess he was process of elimination about his father. He figured either his father would have made contact or he couldn't, and there was only one way he couldn't, and that was to be in the house. And he was a Cub Scout. I was wrong that he was faking the Cub Scout earlier with the wife. When he's like, she was saying the American Indian is the very spirit of the Cub Scouts. So he's doing the Morse code shuffle. I only know SOS. I think as most people know. Da 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 da. Adal, Adala. Son. Pyongyil letter. Pyongyil. But just think of the futileness of this and how lucky he got that the son saw this, because he's sending it out through Morse code every day. Look at this. Oh. I mean, it's... Yeah, he wrote all this and he's tapping it out for the light in the hopes there. But that, once again, I think that the cutting of the wire should have been earlier. It's such a small detail that you kind of need it to be handheld a little bit so people will get it. But of course, he was the parasite. And the two people that ended up living in the basement was the husband, who did the same kind of Castello, whatever, Taiwanese cake shop that Song Kang-ho did, Kim Ki-tae. And they both fell into debt and ruined lives and have nothing but a lowly basement to live in. I can't imagine that he would think that his son would see the letter, but everyone has to have hope. Doesn't even remember her name. Bearing her out by the trees. This is Hangul, Korea. Sentence structure is very different than English. But they have an alphabet, and that's what makes it easier to learn. By easier, I mean this much easier. Look at his stereotypical stuff. Look. It's funny that maybe he really believed that. what kind of person could stay down there but a parasite? Someone who is just like they're hibernating until they can find a new host. It's not as if he doesn't have feelings or love for his family. He's just not built for anything other than what he is, which is just a leech of people's emotions, of people's possessions, of their lives. But still, their love. I mean, people are flawed. Look at him. I mean, he's still, the son's still happy. I mean, the son and the father were close the way the mother and the daughter were close. Yeah, this is where people start explaining, and I'm not gonna, because it's up to you. Although I do believe it is straightforward. Nothing has changed, right? Still the same green, the same height, same emptiness, cleanliness. Remember, he's a dreamer like the father. They're basking in the sunlight just like the housekeeper and the husband before them. Now, whether this is actually happening or not, that's the whole point about the explanation, which it's up to you to decide. Could the movie have ended here? I don't think so. And I'll only ask a question in terms of explanations. How would Kim Ki-tae get the letter from his son? That's it. Maybe you got an answer. I haven't been watching the live chat, or if there's been anybody in the chat, I have to turn it all off because other things will burn up from the processing speeds. And now the camera moved down at the beginning. It's moving down at the end. Normally, it's supposed to, everything has changed normally in a film, and in terms of the family and everything else around them, it absolutely has changed. But their position in life has not, according to the camera movements. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is Parasite. I had a great time doing this. I'm learning how to be quiet, I think. I'm still talking too much probably in some places. But I'll be back tomorrow. It's on my thing. It's on my channel. So, hey, see you tomorrow. And, stay safe.